Welcome back to the Team O'Neill Rally School for a summer special episode of Will It Rally. We've taken some of your feedback from the first season. We've implemented a few changes for this video, and we're gonna just get down to it. So let us know what you think via, obviously, the little thumbs up, thumbs down, comments in the comment section, whatever you gotta do, so that going into the second season, you guys are getting kind of the program that you'd like to watch. What we've got here today is a 2013 Dodge Charger police car. It's got a lot of features. We'll talk about them in the car. We're here to find out today, will it rally? Welcome to Will It Rally, the new series from the Team O'Neill Rally School. Join us as we find the limits of different vehicles on our wide open skidpad and slalom courses before racing against the stopwatch on a technical rally stage. All right, so a 2013 Dodge Charger cop car. It's built on the same platform that you could get at the dealership back in 2013. It's a 5.7 liter Hemi V8 with variable valve timing. They put this engine in a bunch of Jeep products and the Ram trucks and the Durango, and you could get it in a variety of different platforms. The variable timing is really good. The other thing that's really nice about this is that it does have the fuel saver technology, as they called it, which basically means it shuts down into 4 cylinders on the highway. So we've got 370 horsepower on tap here. We're still gonna get 25 miles to the gallon. One of the features I'm not sure might have been available in the civilian version is the column shift 5-speed automatic transmission, where I think the normal one had just a regular automatic shifter in the console. Now, this transmission's actually pretty good to go. If you did have to drive this, in a pursuit situation under stress or if something's going wrong, it does a really nice job. If you need to stop, it's right there next to the steering wheel. I can engage reverse really quickly. That's no problem. And then when you do need to go back to drive, little left foot brake, and you can just slap it down into drive and go. And you don't have to worry about, maybe getting into first or second or third or some other gear. You just whack it down and send it. And that's really, really nice with that auto stick feature. You got to push the buttons to get the other gears when you want to drive it like a manual. Supposedly, these things are good for a 0-60 time of 5.7 seconds on tarmac. The curb weight comes in right at 4,252 pounds, and they're made right over the border in Ontario, Canada. So what makes this Charger different than one you might have purchased at the dealership back in 2013? We got lucky on this one and it came with the window sticker. So we've got a full rundown of all of the police spec options. This of course comes with the heavy duty cloth front seats. We've got vinyl floors. Originally this came with a heavy duty vinyl back seat that was easy to clean should you need to. This one we've swapped for a leather seat just because it is more comfortable if somebody does want to just ride in the rear. Really nice upgrades, the big 4-wheel disc brakes, heavy duty suspension, heavy duty 18-inch steel wheels. The electrical system in this is way heavier duty than what you'd find in the normal one. We've got a 220 amp alternator, as well as an 800 amp heavy duty battery in the trunk where the spare tire is. There's a ton of factory additional wiring in here, both in the front and in the back for all the comms gear and sirens and everything else that they were running in this. There's a whole tray in the trunk for the mounting of some of that gear with a cooling fan. We've got, of course, the spot lamps on the side. We've got this super cool red or white. I particularly like the red setting on this big light inside. It's got an engine hour meter so that as a fleet vehicle, they can keep track of how many hours this engine has on it. Comes with the severe duty engine cooling package. Of course, the calibrated speedometer that's pretty standard in police cars so that you know how fast the bad guys are going without having to get out your radar gun while you're driving. And between the stock options and all of the police special add-ons, this thing was purchased for $36,790. And like most of these cars, when you do pick them up, they've stripped the comms gear, the radios are gone, the siren's gone, all of that stuff's really expensive. They're gonna reuse it, which is fine. What we're really here to find out is, hey, how good is this thing actually for high-speed driving? In the interest of just science and technology here, we're gonna do just a standing start, sort of drag race launch with this thing and see how it goes. You've got the auto stick feature. Just click the button at the end and then you can select, 1, 2, 3 or whatever you might want. In this case, we're gonna use 1. Just like launching any automatic car, you're gonna be left foot braking. To hold the vehicle stable, you're going to accelerate slightly to build up that engine RPM and tighten up the torque converter. And when it's 3, 2, 1 go time, all you're going to do is pop off of the brake. Maybe increase the throttle, maybe not. So just like always, eyes way up down the road, good hand position, left foot's on the brake, load up the torque converter, 3, 2, 1, go. A little bit of wheel spin, not bad, kind of nurturing that throttle control. It'll shift itself up into second, and that's 60. Pretty quick on gravel. These tires do a fantastic job. These are the Goodyear Eagle Ultra grips, and they're actually pretty fantastic on a gravel road like this. They're good in the snow, and they're definitely more than acceptable for most duties on pavement. So yeah, that's pretty good. The diff feels like it does about what it should. Just like always, it's a game of throttle control. Too much throttle, they spin too much. Not enough, they don't spin enough. We're in first again, load the brake, left foot on throttle. Release the brake and go. We'll take that, it's pretty good. Shift at 5,500. That's 60, that's 70. There's a pretty big gap between first and second gear. If second gear was a little lower, that transition would happen a little quicker, you'd be in a better gear. But with a 5-speed automatic transmission and the top speed that they probably need for this, that's fine. A closer ratio transmission would be happier, for this purpose, but we'll take what we can do. So just as important as how it accelerates is how good the brakes are. So let's see, we're gonna get it up to 60 and I'm gonna do a basic panic stop. 3, 2, 1, scrub. Ooh, nice. I like it. There's always a risk when you pull the ABS fuse, as we have done here. The ABS is deactivated. There's always a risk that your brake bias is a little weird. A lot of that brake proportioning from front to rear these days happens through that ABS system. This one feels like it's doing about the right thing. I've got a lot of front brake, not so much rear brake, which is basically what you would want for pavement, which is what this car is designed for. So high-speed driving on tarmac, you want mostly front brake, only a little rear brake. On gravel, you'd want a little more rear. Let's do the same thing, right about there and stop. So that time, lock the fronts up pretty heavily, so ease back off the brake, feel them roll again, add brake pressure again. The front brakes do lock up a little easier than you'd like, but that's because it's a pavement car, it's made for pavement. Most cars, when you get on gravel or certainly on snow, they've got too much front brake. There's nothing we can do about that. Your best bet is to just threshold brake and use just a little bit of that lockup on gravel. There's 60 again on the brake hard. It stops really well. It stops really well. For the weight of this car, by the time you're driving this thing, it's basically a 4,500 pound car. If you've got a little bit of gear with you, you're right at that 4,500 pound mark. So it accelerates pretty darn well. It stops pretty well. Does it go around corners? Heck yeah, it does. You can come into nice long corners just balancing it with a little bit of left foot brake. All you're doing is putting the nose down and intentionally making the back end light so it slides around. That lets you come into corners really kind of hot. Use that brake to make rotation. And then once you've got it pointed pretty much where you want to go and your speed's about right, finish it off with the throttle. Obviously everybody's crowd favorite, jumping on the gas to rotate the back end around the corner. Like that. Everybody loves it. Just remember, that only really works when you're either going too slow for the corner or at about the right speed for that already. If you're coming into a corner fast, it's all about using the proper amount of brake and the right amount of steering and making the car rotate under braking. So really pretty impressive for the size and the weight of it and everything else. Feels like it'll do some pendulum turns pretty well. It transfers weight pretty quickly from one side to the other with that heavy duty suspension. The only last trick that you do have up your sleeve with this car, because we don't have a handbrake obviously, we've got a foot brake. And the nice thing about these ones is it's a push to release. So when you're coming into a tight corner, you know, if we get a hairpin turn or something like that, you switch over. So instead of left foot braking, put your right foot on the normal brake and your left foot on the emergency brake. Turn in, engage that brake, car's gonna rotate, kick to release, switch back to your left foot on the brake and drive away. Do that one more time. Switch your feet over, right foot on the brake, left foot on the emergency brake, turn in and engage, release, and drive out of it. Pretty good. The cable for that emergency brake, you can feel it's a little spongy, it's not really crisp. The rear brakes don't lock up as easy as you'd like. You would want to probably find that cable and tighten that up so that it really locks the rear tires up nice and stiffly for you and kind of quickly. This one's a little spongy and you really got to push it to get anything to happen, but it works. You know, I wouldn't want to trust my life on it coming into a corner, but it's there and it'll certainly help us rotate the car for the really tight corners. For such a big vehicle, it really checks a lot of the boxes. You know, the steering feels great, the brakes feel great, it's got tons of power, you know. 370 horsepower in a car like this is a lot on a slippery road. Really, my main concern getting ready for this timed lap is just the physics of all of the weight of it, especially on some of the downhill stuff, and the size of the vehicle. You know, our normal little Ford Fiesta hatchbacks and Subarus and things are pretty small and pretty nimble. So we're gonna have to be pretty careful, especially with where the trunk is on this thing. When you're driving, usually people are pretty good at getting the nose and themselves through something and hitting stuff with the back of the car, just because, you know, hey, we got another 12 feet of car behind us. If we're sliding sideways, you gotta know where those taillights are so you're not bouncing into trees on your way through. All right, so the Charger, it's pretty quick, it's pretty heavy, it's a lot of fun. There's nothing left to do. Put it against the stopwatch on our little mountain course here. I'll be using the highly technical iPhone stopwatch for this one. Not much else to say, really. Lock it down, auto stick on. I'll be in 1, I'll go to 2. It might go to 3, it'll probably auto shift. We'll see what happens. Other than that, 3, 2, 1. Go. All right, quick off the line, packed gravel here, no big deal. Little left foot brake coming around this one. The whole deal is get a little set up, hang it out wide here. Nicely done. I'm proud of that for a second. Little counter steer. Gotta breathe on the brakes, get it turned in. Ooh, lost a little foot brake, we're good. Switch it back the other way. Lock the brakes up. I got a little bit aggressive on the brake pedal and it locked. Over this crest, nice and smooth. Whoa, take that shift in, it's shifting. Get it into 2, lock it into 2. All right, S turns. Little throttle steer through here, just enough dig on those rear tires to actually help me accelerate. Long right-hander up this hill. Used a little brake on the way in, just kind of cruising the throttle, same thing, just not overdoing it with the gas, easy right. 2 is too high right there, but it'll catch up. Little left foot brake. Pendulum into here. Cruise out throttle. This one tightens up, so I'm gonna throttle steer early. Ooh, will take it. Easy right. Medium left, big crest, stay in, don't overdo it. The suspension, this heavy duty suspension really does a pretty good job. Coming in here, I know the front brakes lock up a little easy. Going for my foot brake. There it is. Round that one back to throttle. Same thing, quick down the hill. I'm gonna brake with my right foot, nice straight line, so I can use that foot parking brake. We'll take it in and out of there. Fully released, yes, we're good. Okay, coming up, where's my stopwatch? Here we go, little left foot brake coming in, quick and finish. 2:05:52. All right, so the Dodge Charger cop car did our lap out here in 2:05:52. Don't really have a great frame of reference as it's the only car that we've gone around here in the summer with. Obviously, it was the fastest compared to the snow laps. Mostly, this was just a test bed for kind of the new format of this show. If this is something you'd like to see more of, definitely. Give this video a like, add some comments in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon. You guys know the deal. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in high-speed driving, if you want to get behind the wheel yourself, check out teamoneil.com. We run courses all year long out here in New Hampshire. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time. The Dodge Charger cop car did our little lap here in 2 minutes. So the Dodge Charger cop car here did our little lap in 2:05:52. But of course, it's gravel, it's not snow, so that is, let me give it one more. Yep. I didn't actually think this through at all.